Hey guys, and welcome to Wrestling Days. So I've got a question for you today. It's a pretty simple question, but it's one that I just can't get my head around at the moment. And it's this: how is making Kevin Owens the Intercontinental Champion again good for WrestleMania? Love Kevin Owens to pieces, but I just don't see where we're going. He had the title before, he dropped it, and it felt like we were moving on to bigger and better things. And now it seems as though we've taken a step backwards. And that's not right. The Intercontinental Championship shouldn't be seen that way, as a step backwards. It's just that I honestly thought that we were moving towards Kevin Owens being this monster heel, maybe, competing for the title around SummerSlam, if not a bit before. And now I just don't know. I don't know where we're going. I don't know where Kevin's going. I don't know where Ambrose is going. At this moment, it feels like the Intercontinental title is just being used as a prop and just being passed around, and unfortunately it's been that way for a while. Personally, I would have kept the belt on Ambrose, and whatever happens at Fastlane, we would either have had a champion versus champion match to headline WrestleMania, Ambrose against Triple H, which I think would have been amazing. Another Daniel Bryan moment where he's got two belts being held aloft. Or Ambrose would have had an Intercontinental title match. Either way, he would have been in a title match at WrestleMania. He still can. He could still be facing Kevin Owens, or he could even face Kalisto, or who knows, could team up with Goldust and go for the tag team titles. At this point, I genuinely don't know what WWE are thinking. Dean Ambrose is a fantastic worker, and the Intercontinental title has always been the worker's belt. Don't have a problem with either of those guys holding it. I don't have a problem with Dolph Ziggler holding it, because that's what we'll see at Fastlane. Kevin Owens against Dolph Ziggler. I don't know which way that will go, in truth. It could be that Ziggler takes it off Owens. It could be they want to put the belt back onto Ziggler, and it wouldn't have made sense, or they couldn't have done that because of Dean being in the main event picture. But if that's all they're doing it for, this seems a very long way round, just to go through those steps. I honestly don't know. I don't know why they've done it. I think Dean Ambrose held the title for just over or around 60 days. And in truth, it would have been better if he hadn't. If Kevin Owens had just kept his run going, and then they took the title off him when it was ready to move him up. I mean, the Intercontinental title, just to give you a bit of history on it, been around since the late 70s. And Pat Patterson was the North American heavyweight champion. And he declared that he had beaten the South American heavyweight champion, and so was now forming the Intercontinental Championship. That's how it came into existence, Pat Patterson being the first champion. And it's got a very proud history. Certainly the match that comes to mind straight away for me was the main event of SummerSlam 92 with Bret Hart against the British Bulldog. Absolutely fantastic match that was, in front of 80-odd thousand fans, and it was the main event. As well as that, you've got the Honky Tonk Man's legendary run. He held the title for over 400 days between 1988 and 1989. No one has come even remotely close to that kind of a run with the belt. And really, unfortunately, the 60 days that we've just seen from Dean Ambrose is about par. That's about usual for the title now. And that's not how this belt should be booked. I would like to see a heel have it, like Kevin has now. And I want to see a face go after it. So let's say Neville. Okay, so Neville is going to go after the Intercontinental Championship. So Neville will have a match against Kevin Owens, and he'll lose. He'll come up short. Not good enough. Okay. Neville can go away, and then he can do more training. You can actually see him studying videos of Kevin Owens, and putting in his homework and putting in the graft. Another match happens with, you know, the build-up and everything, and he's getting the better of Owens, but then he's cheated out of it. Owens does something, or a referee does something, screws Neville over, and so the saga goes on. All right. Next one then is Neville working even harder, but also then bringing someone else in just to watch his back, just to make sure everything's cool. We're talking about the third match now. I mean, this can cover 2 to 3 pay-per-views with all of the foundation work of him having matches and trying to find guys that are similar in size to Kevin Owens or similar in style to Kevin Owens. And you can see all of this build. And then finally, the payoff is Neville getting the title. Now, for me, that is going to be over a relatively long period of time. That's, as I said, going to be, I don't know, 3 pay-per-views. You're probably talking about 3 months, which means rather than a 60-day run, you're looking more at a 90 to 100-day title run. And that's even if you want to drop the title. It might be that Kevin doesn't drop the title. It might be that he cheats out of it again, and you know, there's ways of telling these stories. But the important thing is that during that whole period of Neville going after the belt, it puts a highlight on the Intercontinental Championship. It highlights how much that belt means. The fact that someone is so determined to get it, but also the fact that it's not easy to win. And the problem that we have at the moment is that people don't talk about the Intercontinental Championship the way that it should be spoken about. You know, I didn't even know there was an Intercontinental Championship match this week. It wasn't announced in advance. And it's just the authority trying to screw with Dean Ambrose by booking a fatal 5-way where, you know, Dean's just lost the title without even being pinned. It was Kevin Owens pinning Tyler Breeze. It's all well and good, but really, can you use the Intercontinental Championship as just a prop in this bigger story? I don't think that's right. I don't think they should have done that. I think they should have just kept the title on Kevin Owens, and I don't think Ambrose should have had this 60-odd day title run. Because what has it done? Has it helped Ambrose? Has it furthered his character at all? Has this, you know, loss that Owens has suffered, and subsequent losses as well? I mean, there was the fantastic Rumble match for the Intercontinental Championship. I'm not disputing these guys' abilities whatsoever, but what has either of them gained since TLC when Ambrose won the belt? If anything, their characters have gone backwards. Certainly Kevin Owens. So maybe they're looking at putting the belt on him and trying to build him back up again. Where does this leave both guys now? So Dean Ambrose now doesn't have a title. He's going to go into a match at Fastlane that no one is expecting him to win. If he does win, that would be brilliant. And maybe they've taken the belt off him so that they can have him in the main event and then still have an Intercontinental Championship. But if you was Triple H and your opponent was Dean Ambrose, would you not keep the belt Intercontinental Championship on him and tell him that he's got a fight earlier in the night as well, just like they did to Daniel Bryan? Why are you going to want to go up against a fresh Dean Ambrose when you are the COO and can make any match you want? Doesn't make sense. I don't know why they've taken this title away from him. He was someone I honestly thought could have a honky-tonk man type run, and I think that the belt needs a honky-tonk type run. Someone to really take it, defend it, and for it not to just get passed around like some prop. And what if Ambrose loses? So Ambrose isn't the Intercontinental Champion and then doesn't win at Fastlane. Where does that put Ambrose at WrestleMania? You know, Ambrose Undertaker? That'd be cool. But there's no reason as to why he couldn't have still been the Intercontinental Champion. He doesn't have to defend that title. The Undertaker's not going to be interested in the Intercontinental belt. So, I just don't get it. So where does that leave us with Owens? Well, he's obviously picked up a prize, a title. That's a good thing. He's obviously got a match against Dolph Ziggler again, which is okay. You know, those two guys can work. But where are we going for WrestleMania? Are we gonna have a Owens Ziggler match again at WrestleMania? Are we gonna see Owens Ambrose again at WrestleMania? I mean, people have been clamouring to see KO against The Undertaker. Well, if they've taken the belt away from Ambrose and it doesn't look like he's going to win at Fastlane, then why have we put the belt onto Owens? There must be a plan. I just don't see it. So, in summary, I'm concerned. I'm a bit perplexed. I don't know how this strengthens Kevin Owens, because it felt like we were going on to bigger things. I don't know how this strengthens Dean Ambrose, because he's only had a 60-day title run. I don't know what this means for WrestleMania. In a way, it's a little exciting because I'm really intrigued to see how this plays out. They must have a plan, because this seemed very hastily booked. You know, this wasn't announced in advance. It appeared out of nowhere. It's a fatal five-way. He gets screwed over. You know, as I said, Dean wasn't even pinned. And then we get a new champion. So, I don't know. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this subject, because I am at a bit of a loss at the moment to get my head around it all. So, drop it in the comments, or you can follow me on Twitter, and that's at Wrestling Days UK. I'd love to know your thoughts on this subject. So we'll have to see how it plays out. Hopefully KO now goes and holds on to this title till at least the end of the year. There's no reason why he still can't be competing for the world title as the Intercontinental Champion. Champion versus champion. I'd absolutely love to see it. He could even go after the US title. Let's have KO against Kalisto, or whoever the US champion's going to be, and let's go through, you know, a period or a feud along those lines. But I would love to see this title given a bit more respect than what it's had recently, and someone really having a run with it. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you again next time.